Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Chere Jacobs.
Sherry, thanks for being willing to tell about the healing that happened in your life. Tell us what problem you had that got healed.
It began as a weakness in the way I was able to walk, and it got progressively worse. And by the end of 3 months, it was just very difficult to walk. The doctors didn't see anything on the x-rays. The chiropractors thought I was faking. No, it was the therapist thought that I maybe had just learned how to walk incorrectly. Well, one day when I came home from church, I caught my foot on the rug and snap. The femur bone just broke, and that's the bone from your hip to your knee. And luckily that God had placed Dr. Dolphin at the hospital, and he's the one that fixed my leg for me, put a titanium rod in the femur and a rod in the part that goes up into your hip. And so now I've been a year working on just feeling better, feeling more confident, being able to lay on that side. It has been kind of a mental and physical trip for me.
Okay. So this took a while building up to the point where you knew you needed the healing, and it's taken quite a while since then for this healing to be complete.
Yes. I knew I needed a healing, and before it broke, I came to the healing school because I wanted to know about healing. We saw an ad in the paper about the healing school, so we contacted you and signed up and came over. And my background has not been such that I've known much about healing, and the churches that I've gone to really never taught us much about healing. If we read the stories in the Bible, they were stories in the Bible that didn't have relevance for today. So it was exciting for me to be with people who believe that we take a part in healing, and that healing is for us, and that it doesn't have to be somebody else that gives you a special hand, but you can partake in healing yourself. So I went to the healing school, and by gosh, it wasn't healed. What happened was it broke, and that was the way God healed me, by a miraculous breakage that would heal. You know, He created our bodies to be magnificent temples, and I guess my leg needed to break before it could heal.
So you did have a lot of medical treatment for your leg. You had a pin, you had surgery, you had physical therapy, you've had all of that. So why do you think that was a healing that God had something to do with, not just a natural healing through medical intervention?
I think it could be both, but because I want my faith to be something that's real for me, I know that God is a part of everything, and so I have become much more attuned to the things that God does around us and in our lives, and healing is part of it. So because I was healed, whether or not it was the doctors helping me along by giving me that good surgery, or the doctor told me it would be just a couple of months and I'd be back to normal, but it's been a year. So God's just brought me along slowly.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with God and your faith level before this healing? You told us a little bit about that based on your background as a Christian, but what I'm interested in is, how has your experience with the healing school and this gradual healing that you've gone through, how has that affected your relationship with God and your faith level?
Before I was a Christian, I knew I wasn't a Christian. And then I became a Christian, and then I knew I was a Christian. But I knew that there were a lot of things that God has for us. And I just didn't have those things. I mean, I believed in the Lord. I knew that I was destined for eternity with Him, and I read the Bible, but now there's a realistic component to my faith. I really believe I can partake in the things that God wants us to do. Miracles will happen. You need to look for them. Healings happen. You listen to testimonies. You give your own testimonies. My faith has really been exciting since healing school last year. The people that I run into now that I see with walkers or limps or sitting at Sam's in one of those motorized carts, I have much compassion for those people because I was there. And it gives me something to talk to them about. It breaks the ice. And then perhaps we can talk about the Lord too.
Okay. So there are a lot of people like you who need God to touch their bodies, maybe have given up hope or have just gotten used to a physical problem so they don't even expect much. What would you say to someone like that who has a physical problem and needs healing and maybe doesn't quite know where to turn?
I'd say take a chance. Come to healing school and learn what healing is. That's part of the component of school, is to be taught and to hear people talk about their own healings. I mean, if you don't know that people are getting healed around you, it's very exciting to know that it can happen. I love the testimonies because some people just don't believe. But when you see somebody, hear somebody, look at somebody that can tell you that the Lord intervened in their life, not only physically but mentally. I think part of my struggle has been mental too, to have a little fear that my leg will not hold up, and God deals with that too.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks so much, Chere, for sharing your testimony, and I believe God will use it to bless some other people.
I know He will.
Thank you.
Suzanne.